Hey guys, it's Andy from ACC Crappie Sticks. We're out here back again on Toledo Bend, day 2. Some of the same guys, a couple of extras. We're gonna go back out there. We found the fish good yesterday. The weather's looking good, a little foggy right now, but the wind's supposed to lay down. So we're gonna start where we know they are, and we might peel off and do some scouting, searching, running, and go try to find some different fish, but we're gonna have a good time. We'll see you out there on the water. Got Wesley Miller in the boat with us. He's a guide down here in Louisiana. What's the name of your guide service?
Big Sasquatch Outdoors.
How do we find you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook.
You just did pretty good at a big old tournament not too long ago, didn't you?
We did wonderful at the Wally Marshall's Crappie Expo. We ended up finishing second out of 105 boats, so we were really happy with that, and really happy with our finish.
Down there on the
Mighty Red River.
About 40 boats got totaled and sunk and torn up.
Mine's one of them. Mine ended up with a hole in the bottom of it. But
well, it's all in a day's work, right?
It's all in a day's work, that's right.
Got to chase them down and do what you got to do. All right, well, we're going to go chase some of these crappie down in these stumps, and this stump field is flat, and there's a channel running through it. You got to stay in the channel because they're deeper. And that's what we're doing today. The wind has finally died down, the fog's lifted, and we're going to go see what we can do.
100% of my crappie fishing before live scope was out of a 14-foot John boat with a no trolling motor, no light, no depth finder, no anything. I live on a bayou in North Louisiana called Door Cheat Bayou, and it's got wonderful fishing, but it's just fishing brush tops, natural brush tops up and down the bayou. Never put anything out, never, like I said, never used any electronics or anything. So actually, live scope was very easy for me to learn because I'd never spider rigged. I never fished any of these other ways other than just single pole fishing. So for me to go from I never even owned a depth finder before live scope. So for me to not have ever had any of that, and then just to figure out a way I could go fishing, and I already knew how to catch them, but to have some way that I could find them like you can with live scope, that's the biggest thing for me. It just made it to where I could find fish. I already knew how to catch them.
So Wesley, how'd you get to find the ACC crappie sticks and get to using them?
Well, about three Christmases ago, me being an avid crappie fisherman, my older brother, he asked me, he's like, well, what style rod and reel or crappie pole would you like? I said, well, I always like that time I was fishing a lot of brush tops and stuff. I just like a rear-seated rod. So for Christmas, I ended up getting a green ACC crappie stick, 11-footer with a rear-seated reel seat. And for the next 6 or 8 months, that's all I used, and I absolutely loved it. And then live scope came along, and we started live scoping started doing the live scope thing. This rod I was using would still work perfectly for that. I just really liked it. So whenever I decided to become a guide, I got a hold of Andy and said, being I'm a guide, is there anything you can do to, help me out with, hook me up with some rods, give me a discount or something, And so Andy gave me a real nice discount because I was a guide. And it just wasn't a question of me going and looking for somebody to give me a rod or something. I already knew the rods I wanted. I already knew the quality they were. I knew it felt good in my hand. So I knew it is what I wanted. So it was just a real easy thing to do because I already knew who made the best rods in the country and which ones I wanted to use.
Cool. And then we met down there at Lake Fork.
We did.
That tournament we had last fall, and got to talking to you there, and ever since it's worked out pretty good.
It has worked out great, and we did real well at the Crappie Expo. Had a good showing there, and hopefully we'll make it a good showing at a bunch more tournaments here in the future.
I think so. I think he'll do pretty good. Well, Wesley, I'm glad we got to fish together finally. I'll definitely be coming back down here more often. I love it down here. I'll get over on some of your Louisiana lakes and you can go show me what you do down there. And it was good having you. We're gonna get out here and go catch some more fish.
Sounds good to me. It was great being here, and thank you for the invite and the breakfast this morning. It's a beautiful day. The sun's about to come out. We're gonna get up and down this channel and go catch some more fish.
I think we're gonna get some gumbo tonight.
Ooh, that's some of the stuff you don't get up north.
When in Rome, right?
That's right.
You come to Louisiana, if you don't eat gumbo,
Well, I mean, we come to Yankee Land up there. What are you gonna feed us? Hot dogs?
We don't have anything good. Pizza or something, I don't know. I'm in a boat with two of my good buddies. It's amazing what the crappie fishing industry does. And the number one thing I think it does is it brings people together and you make a lot of good friends. Out here with my good buddy Charlie Burrows and Keith Acker. We'll start with Charlie. He's got a YouTube channel and he loves these East Texas lakes. And he's been putting a hurting on these big crappie for a few years now. And believe me, when I say he's been putting a hurting on them, he's been putting a hurting on them. So, Charlie, tell us about your channel.
Well, my channel is called Go Fish with Charlie Burrow, of course. And hey, Andy has literally watched me grow up, even though I'm 68 and much older than him. He's literally watched me grow up in the crappie world. Saw a green stick in the guy's boat and it caught my eye and he said, well, pick it up. And I picked it up, immediately fell in love with it and went and bought one. And so our relationship kind of started right then, and I have not used any other rod. But anyway, back to my YouTube channel. It's fun. I've been doing it for 2 years now. This month be 2 years, and I love it. I don't guide. I've never fished a tournament, but I love fishing by myself and doing this YouTube, and it's fun. I enjoy it.
You're not always by yourself. You got the boss that puts a whooping on you every now and then.
Miss Go Fish, she was my student. Safe to say the student has surpassed teacher.
Yes.
She's quite, and bless her heart, she uses one jig and one jig only. It's all, and still outfishes me. But hey, if y'all get a chance, I would appreciate you check out my channel, Go Fish with Charlie Burrow. I'm big into 90% of it is going to be live scope. So if you're just getting live scope and you don't even know what a fish looks like, I'm telling you, I've got some up close personal shots and views of live scope in action, along with tips and tactics that I use and tips that I get from buddies like Keith here. But give it a check, and I appreciate it.
And that's important. I want to add something. People think, oh, you go get live scope and it's cheating. How many days have you been out there where you drop it on their snout and they swim away from it? They're afraid of it. And to know what a fish looks like, and to know, you know, is he interested or is he not interested? Do I move on? Do I stay? You know, are those crappie, are those bait, are those bluegill, shad, whatever? There's a lot to it. There's a big learning curve. You don't just slap it on your boat and go catch a limit of fish.
Exactly.
I learned that. It's when you put that on your boat, you're starting all over. You're starting all over, because there was pre-live scope and now there's live scope. And I don't care if you've been fishing for 50 years, you've got to learn that, and you've got to start from scratch. And your channel's really good at breaking it down and explaining it, and I appreciate that. I know a lot of people appreciate it. You're growing fast. I'm proud to call you a friend. All right, now we're going to talk to Mr. Keith Acker. I've known him for a couple of years now, and like Charlie said, he's a guide down here. A good friend, and he knows how to consistently catch fish. I mean, every day he's got a mess of fish, posting pictures to social media. Tell us about your guide service and when you got started and all that good stuff, Keith.
I basically guide in East Texas predominantly because it has better lakes. No one lake in particular. I love Toledo Bend here. It's a good lake, but you have to have the weather conditions that are conducive to fishing. I've been guiding for a couple of years now. Got started due to the fact that I'm retired military and needed something to help fill some of my time up. And plus, I love to fish. I love to share the boat and love to see other people catch fish, so guiding just kind of suited me. I guide on some Louisiana lakes, not many, just strictly because either the boat traffic that's on them or due to the fact that they just don't fish as well as the East Texas lakes do.
How long were you in the military?
I served in the military for right at 20 years.
Wow, I didn't know that. What branch?
I served in the Army and the Air Force.
I did not know that. Well, thank you for your service. That means, we were talking about that earlier. That's amazing. My daughter's in the Marines now. She's served for a year, so she's got a lot of catching up to do. But wow, yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Oh,
that's a good career there. That's a long stretch to serve the country, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's taking people fishing is probably a little less stressful, a little bit more relaxing than the 20-year stint in the military, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, now the 20 years was, some of it was in the reserves. But yeah, it's definitely less stressful when it comes to fishing.
How do we get a hold of you? How do we find you? You got a guide service, social media, phone number, whatever you want to put out there, let us know.
You can look me up on Facebook at Keith Acker and message me through Facebook Messenger, or you can go through Instagram. It's Keith_Acker_fishing and message me that way. That's just the easiest ways to get a hold of me. And like I said, I'll return your call and we'll set up a trip.
Well, good deal. We appreciate both of you, Keith and Charlie. Thank you very much for your time. We know you're chomping at the bit. You guys are sitting here going, can we fish yet? Are you done with us, Andy? So we are. We appreciate you both. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Andy.
We're down here on Toledo Bend with my buddy Les Milligan, and when he's around, I always ask him, how are you catching those fish? Because he's a very good fisherman. He finds the biggest fish in the lake. So we were catching a bunch of good black crappie, you know, good size ones, and we came by and started talking to Les. He had a live well full of bigger white crappie. And so I was curious, I was like, what's the difference? Or I knew he wasn't just getting lucky and catching white crappie here. So tell us what you were doing and how you were finding those.
Yeah, so I started noticing that the black crappie, they were set up in little small, I guess, family groups or schools. There would be at least 3 of them, and they tended to be a little bit deeper than the white crappie. And I just started noticing that the bigger white crappie were higher in the water column, whereas the black crappie were down a little lower, kind of schooled up together. And so I just would drive by the black crappie and focus on the one bigger dot that was up higher in the water column. A lot of times the white crappie and the black crappie, they act totally different. Even on my home lake of the Pines, the black crappie might be doing one thing and the white crappie are doing something totally different. So even though they're both crappie, they act totally different.
I remember when we came down there and we'd see these, I guess, Osage orange trees, and there'd be 10 fish on there, and you're like, those are black crappie and they won't bite. And we're like, yeah, right. So we tried it, and you were right. It's like, it's crazy. And so we were targeting more single. It's like the white crappie, or there'll just be 1 or 2 of them. And then the black crappie, there's more of them for whatever reason. So it's really interesting, and sometimes the one will bite and the other won't. So it's just crazy how they act so different, you know, on the same body of water.
Yeah, it seems like the white crappie are usually more apt to feed. It seems like the black crappie are more finicky. They tend to want a smaller bait, but I can usually depend on the white crappie to bite.
Well, thanks. It's always good to have these helpful tips, you know, because you get out here and you're like, man, how'd you figure that out? So it's good to have some local knowledge from a good fisherman. So we appreciate the help from you for sure.
Oh, I've enjoyed being with ACC for quite a number of years now, and these fishing trips to Texas is something I always look forward to.
Oh, it's my favorite time of the year. I love coming down here and catching these hogs.
Oh, heck yeah.
So we appreciate you. Tell us about your guide service.
I got on Lake of the Pines, really all over East Texas, Lake Fork. I've been guiding for, I don't know, a little over 6 years now.
What's the name of it? Where do we find you?
Lake of the Pines Fishing Guide Service, Les Milligan. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you have trouble finding it, just look at Andy's Instagram and you'll see some pictures. Up in here, ACC!
There you go. Golly.
Oh yeah, come on, baby! Oh yeah!
Snatched him out of there. 2 big hogs on the same string. Doesn't get any more fun or better than that. Shad.
See that? I had my rod straight up in my head.
Great time, bunch of great people. That's all I can say. We had a good time every year. I have definitely the best pro staff in the industry, best friends, I'll call them. A lot of them couldn't be here. It's not just these here that I like. It's a great team, and we had a good time. Caught a lot of fish. Today was awesome. Found some big white crappie. Went to a different creek and caught some big 1.5 to 2 pound whites. And came back here, ate some jambalaya, a bunch of fish and hush puppies, having a good time, staying here at Jack Angler's Cove on Toledo Bend, having a good time, and that's it. It's a wrap. I'm out of here. I'm gonna drink a beer and go to bed. Out.